So 2 days ago, President Tinubu fired service chiefs, appointed new ones with a charge to hit the ground running. On the show today, we're asking what the tasks are before the service chiefs with the recent killings in Mangu in Plateau State and the urgent need to bring back peace to the nook and crannies of the country. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang met with President Tinubu recently on some issues. The big question is the Plateau State government seeking intervention from the federal government to tackle some security challenges in that part of the country? Let's find out more. Caleb Mutfwang is the executive governor of Plateau State and he joins me live from Jos. Your Excellency, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you, Femi. Good evening, Nigerians.
Well, the last time we spoke, you were governor-elect. So let me say congratulations on your inauguration as executive governor of Plateau State. We understand that celebration is short-lived now, seeing the huge security challenges you have to deal with yourself. In one of the meetings you held with stakeholders earlier this month, you were quoted to have said, "We must tell ourselves enough is enough. This madness and killings must come to an end," and you were referring to attacks in Mangu. You were once a chairman of that particular local government. Why do you think the attacks in that area have persisted, even with the 24-hour curfew in the place?
Well, thank you, Nifemi. Let's put things in proper context. It is true that Mangu local government in particular has come under a deluge of attacks in the last 1 month, 2-3 weeks preceding my inauguration, and it has continued unabated till this moment. But I must separate that from an incident that happened 3-4 days ago that necessitated the imposition of the curfew. That had nothing to do with the insurgency we are having. It was more of an internal clash, a misunderstanding among persons within the community in Mangu. And I want to say that the situation inside Mangu town has been brought under very considerable control, and vehicles are moving on the main highway without any constraint. But of course, the main issue of the insecurity, which has to do with insurgency, is continuing unabated. Even last night, I can tell you that we lost another 14 people around that axis. Even as I'm talking to you, I've had to be dealing with security agencies and giving instructions on how to create new buffer zones. Why has this continued unabated? I think there has been a deliberate conspiracy to bring down Plateau State. And let me say this is not restricted to just Mangu or Bokos, Riom, Barkiladi. Even in recent times, places like Wase and Kanam have come under vicious attacks by insurgents. One of the two things are quite attractive on the plateau. The land itself, it's one of the most fertile pieces of land in Nigeria. It's one of the most arable farmlands in Nigeria. And of course, the mineral deposits that are in Plateau State. And people are beginning to realize that if you possess the land, you possess the minerals. And so Plateau has come into serious contention for some of these reasons. So we can look at economic factors, we can look at political factors, we can look at social factors that are behind the continuation of this insurgency. But what I can assure you is that we're doing our best to tackle these issues.
You know, the last time we spoke on this platform, you mentioned to me that security for you isn't much about the presence of military, but the absence of conflict. So I'm wondering how you intend to deal with the criminality element of this crisis while you're attempting to resolve the communal conflicts.
Thank you, Nifemi. We're doing a multi-pronged approach to this issue. Certainly, while we are identifying the people that we need to dialogue with and we are stepping up the process of engagement with the leaders that we believe are influential and can bring this scourge to an end. We have to deal with the criminality. The criminality has to do with communities being invaded by people we do not know where they come from. The other day, we had a group of about 100 motorcycles crossing into a community on the main highway, each of them carrying not less than 3 passengers on the motorbike, and each of them, of course, fully armed. Where are they coming from? Where are they going to? Who called them? Who sent them? These are the things we're asking the security agencies to help us unravel.
Well, we spoke with a community leader on the news a few days ago, and he alleged the complicity of the military, particularly in Barkin Ladi. According to him, these communities are now requesting for only the service of the police. I'm wondering if that is something that you're worried about, and what are you doing about it?
Yes, I've received such complaints, but we do not treat them lightly. We also engage the top brass of the military to try to investigate if there are possible infractions by their men who probably do some things out of their manual of operation. We're engaging the military in that regard, and so far I want to say kudos to the military command, because one of the incidents we had some 2 weeks back, when a soldier was alleged to have shot a civilian, we took it up with the military authorities and they promptly acted. And I can assure you that investigation is ongoing and they are dealing with the matter. Now, sometimes, again, the rules of engagement do not allow the military to open fire, even when they are seeing the insurgents. And so people who are victims of this insurgency feel the military is not doing what it should, but they can only act within their rules of engagement. So sometimes it leads to frustration, it leads to allegations, and so on and so forth. But what I can assure our people is that where there are genuine complaints, we will ensure that those kind of officers are brought to book, of course, we must also promote cordial relationship between the military and the civilian population, because we have to be on the same page to be able to win this battle.
You met with the president recently, and you mentioned to reporters that it was a private meeting that you're not willing to talk about. You may have changed your mind, but are you hoping to, work with the federal government? Is there anything you're looking forward to in the presidential villa as regards the challenges in Plateau?
Oh, sure, Nifemi. Plateau State cannot be an island. We have to work in collaboration with the federal government, given our security framework, our security architecture. As you know, all the security assets are in the hands of the federal government. Much of what we do at the state level is the management of those assets. And therefore, we cannot but collaborate with the federal government. Yes, I met with Mr. President, and I must say that Mr. President was welcoming, was reassuring, and of course, he is quite abreast with the security challenge on the plateau. And I extracted from him a commitment to ensure that the situation on the plateau is brought under control.
Let's talk about the removal of fuel subsidy. You're a member of the National Economic Council. Nigerians are counting on your decision to intervene. That's what the president has tasked the NEC to do this time. What are you doing to help people in Plateau, to survive these days, the days where, they now have to pay almost 3 times what they used to for a liter of petrol?
Yeah, definitely, this is a tough one. But let me say that the NEC did set up a committee to be able to work out some of the details of these palliatives so that we can, as soon as the subsidy, the value of the subsidy begins to flow into the states, will not misuse those values. And I'm sure the committee is working assiduously. It was given a space of 2 weeks, I believe, to deliver its report. A committee headed by the governor of Kebbi State, whom you know is an immediate past national chairman of the NUT. So what I can tell you is that this committee is going to come up with a range of subsidies, a range of, not subsidies, palliatives, I should put it, that would be worker-friendly, would be poor-friendly, and will be people-friendly. For us on the plateau, we came in and the first challenge we're having to deal with is that we made workers on strike because of the non-payment of salaries from February up till May, and I'm glad to report that we have finished paying February salary. We are trusting God that in another week or two, we should be able to look at how to pay the March salary and possibly go on to pay April within the constraints of our finances. But beyond that, the inflows that are expected to come as a result of the removal of the fuel subsidy probably may not be realized until sometime in August.
Governor Mutfwang,
but we are
let me
working,
jump in very
yes.
quickly because of our time. You talked about salaries. The TUC is asking for as much as 200,000 naira. Are you?
Hello, Nifemi?
Yes, can you hear me, Governor Mutfwang?
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me? I was saying.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, good. I was saying that the TUC has asked for as much as 200,000 naira as a minimum wage. Are you ready? Are you willing to increase the minimum wage in the coming days?
I believe, Nifemi, that workers are entitled to what we call a living wage. And within the constraints of our financial challenges, I believe that we should be able to review upwards the salaries of workers. But again, this is why we are a federation. We cannot have one uniform salary scale for everybody across the nation because our capacities are different. Some of the states have even gone ahead to even increase salaries. Some of us were struggling to pay arrears of salaries. So we have to find our level. We have to find our context. But for me, as a governor of Plateau State, I've made a commitment to the workers on the plateau that their welfare is of utmost importance to us. And within the constraints of our resources, we will try to ensure that we make life better for them as we get along.
You sound like you are shying away from that question. Making life better for them. Does that mean they should be expecting an increment?
Oh, sure. I said it, that the issue of increase, I believe that workers deserve a living wage. And definitely the wages at the moment, if you ask me very honestly, I will tell you that they are below what workers should be earning. But again, it's a function of availability. And I said within the constraints of what is available, we'll ensure that we make life better for the workers.
So some 6 days ago, the IG ordered that the police commissioner in Plateau seal up the 17 local government area secretariats. And they're saying it's as a result of skirmishes arising from the suspension of local government chairmen. How are you dealing with that development?
Yeah, thank you, Nifemi, for this question. Let me say that the IG was certainly misinformed about the realities on ground. And incidentally, I also visited the IG a few hours before he was relieved of his appointment. And to put things in proper perspective, as I'm talking to you, I can assure you there is no restiveness in anywhere, in any of the local government secretariats. But this is a slight misunderstanding we're working on, and I'm pretty sure that normalcy will return before too long.
All right, we have to go now. We must say a big thank you for honoring your promise. You promised to answer anytime we call. Hopefully, you'll keep to that promise in the coming days, and as we also monitor developments in your 4-year tenure. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, Executive Governor of Plateau State.
Nifemi.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you, Nifemi. Thank you for bringing me on. And I can assure you that we on the plateau have a lot of respect for TVC and will continue to cultivate the most cordial and right relationship with you guys. Thank you for bringing us on.